people in the world to join LinkedIn on the 21st of December 2003. And earlier this year I published my first book all about the topic of LinkedIn, 120 ways to achieve your purpose with LinkedIn. And then in May I did a second book, 120 ways to attract the right career or business. And then on Tuesday this week, my third book, 120 ways to market your business hyperlocally. So I've learned a lot over the last 8 years, and we've only got 25 minutes together. So I talk pretty fast, and I thought I'd try and share with you the best tips that I can in the next 25 minutes on the topic of LinkedIn. So the first thing that you really need to think about is at least 70% of people are very visual. So if you don't have a really good quality photograph on your LinkedIn profile, firstly, it's unlikely they'll click on it, and secondly, it's not necessarily going to engage. And about 20% of the time someone spends looking at your LinkedIn profile, they're going to spend looking at your actual photograph. And they'll spend even longer if it's a bad photograph. So really important. Your photo can be a little bit edgy and unusual and reflect really what you're trying to achieve in your working or business life. So it doesn't have to be a corporate shot with a white background, but what has to be the main focus of the photograph is your eyes. Because people do business with the eyes. So really important if you can try and make that the focus of your photograph. And if you please try and smile as well, and try and get your teeth in there, because people believe a smile that's got teeth in it. Second tip is to make sure that you have the primary keywords, what you want to be found for, in the headline, which is the actual spot directly underneath your name on LinkedIn. So you start off at the beginning of the headline with the most important words that you want to be found for, and you use up all 120 characters if you possibly can. So I sometimes even avoid commas because that takes up those really valuable characters. Number one reason why you would come up in a LinkedIn search result is because you've got shared connections with someone, but the second is the headline where those keywords are. And if you've got a little bit of room, you've got your keywords in there and you can put something else in, then you can put something in that's going to make you a little bit more memorable. That's really going to help as well. Because I've looked at hundreds of resumes and LinkedIn profiles over the years, and they all start looking very much the same if you don't make it interesting and make it a little bit memorable. The third thing is the summary section, which is usually straight after your photograph and your headline at the top. And this is where you really talk about what you're wanting to do in the future. So it's about making sure that people know what you're on LinkedIn for. So one of the people who came to an hour-long workshop I ran, he changed his LinkedIn profile, and all of a sudden he started getting 3 to 5 opportunities for a new job per day. And so what he has to actually do is change his summary so that not so many people contact him, because he obviously made it too appealing to people to find him. So the summary really needs to be a positioning statement and say yes to the people you want to have look at your profile and no to the people you don't want to look at your profile. It's also really important that it's easy to read and understand, and a lot of people look at LinkedIn profiles on their phones, so make it so that it's scroll friendly. So dot points are going to work much better than lots of text, which a lot of people don't bother reading anymore. Also, I really encourage you to include your contact information. My mobile phone number is all over the internet, as is my email address, but I put spaces around my email address so I don't get spam robots messaging me all the time. But I have it in the summary, so if somebody's interested in working with me, they can contact me immediately. They don't have to join LinkedIn, they don't have to pay for premium membership, they don't have to wait until I respond to an email. They can call me or text me straight away if they're interested. I'm also going to make these slides and this audio recording available, so my assistants are giving you a little flyer. If you put your first name and email address on, I'll send you these slides and the audio and video recording. Also, you need to change your public profile URL. So directly under your photograph on the left-hand side, there's a little spot which is a URL. And a lot of people are starting to include that URL on their email signatures, on their resumes, so that people can quickly click through to the profile. So if you can change that so it's just your name in that URL, if it's available, that's going to help optimize your name in Google as well as in LinkedIn. So really important to try and change that public profile URL. When you put your mouse over it, there's a little cog that appears. You just click on that cog and you can change it. But if you do change it to something else, you can't change it back. So just remember that it's sort of a one-way street, but definitely think about sharing that LinkedIn URL in other locations as well. What you can also, another place that's really important for your keywords is your job titles. So your current job, if you're in one now, and also all of your previous job titles. So you don't just say you're a manager or a supervisor or whatever you're doing in the job, you actually use your keywords after that, so that again, you can be found for that job description that has those keywords in it. You can also think about the future direction you want to go with. So one of my clients was a lawyer and she wanted to get into arts. So what we did is we thought about the words that were in law that are also in arts, and we put that in her job titles, and that helped her come up in arts search results. And you still need to make sure that anything you write on your LinkedIn profile is going to make sense all on its own. So if it doesn't make sense to somebody reading it, it's pointless just having keywords in it. It still needs to look good and be easily understood. In each section of jobs that you've done, it's called experience. And I really encourage you to describe the organisation you've worked for, so give a little bit of a background on them. Then talk about the tasks that you've done in that role and the achievements that you've done in that role, and then put a link to their website in that format, HTTP. Now that link will not work on my laptop or my desktop computer, but if somebody's looking at my LinkedIn profile on their mobile phone, it will be a clickable link. And so if it's your own business, even better, it's going to mean people can click straight through to your website. So you can put that in the experience box. You've got 2,000 characters there, and you really need to showcase how what you've done in the past is related to the future, particularly if you're now looking for work. Number 7 is education. And there's lots of education providers here today at the SpotJobs Career Expo. And obviously, once you've completed, or even whilst you're completing your education, you can put that on your LinkedIn profile. And you can list all the subjects that are a component of that. And if the subject title doesn't include your keywords, but the topics within the subject include your keywords, you can describe all the titles of the subjects, and then you can say topics included, and then put your keywords in that you also want to be known for. So again, we're really optimising it around what you want to be found for. You can also include non-university courses in that as well. So it doesn't have to be a formal qualification. If you've done a week-long program or something vocationally or a TAFE, all of those can be put in your LinkedIn profile. I teach at the CAE, they're here today, and you could even list the courses that you did at CAE in your education section. And yeah, it really helps. If you can't remember what they all were, dig out your old academic transcript or go back to your education provider. They usually have a record still. There's also a section for skills and endorsements. A lot of people think this is a bit of a waste of time. People just tick and flick. And it's designed as a tool by LinkedIn to engage people and interact with other members on LinkedIn. So I really encourage you to sort the skills into what you want to be known for first. So your top 10 skills, regardless of how many votes you've got, should be try and choose them off of the list and make sure that they're in the order of priority of what you want to be known for. And don't worry if you've not got many votes, but if you can try and choose options that are already within the LinkedIn database, that will make it much easier for you to be found for those skills. And you can actually have up to 50. I've used all 50 on mine because I do lots of different things and my purpose is very different. But if you want to specialise in an area, you probably just stick to the top 20 skills. But it's not the main criteria for search results, so don't get too worried about making sure you've got loads of endorsements. What's actually more valuable to you is recommendations. And that's where somebody writes virtually a reference for you on LinkedIn. And they do suggest that if you've got 6 or more recommendations on LinkedIn, you're much more likely to come up in search results. So try and get 6 people to recommend you. And you might even like to be a little bit strategic and think about some of the people you've worked with before and recommend them, and give them a nice recommendation, because every time somebody looks at their LinkedIn profile, your details will appear because you wrote them a recommendation. So you could be quite strategic about writing recommendations for other people as well. Think about the keywords they might want to have in the recommendation. If you're happy to put it in court, it's got to be something you feel comfortable saying about the person. You can include that in the recommendation. And if you would like to follow the link and do that process, you just go to linkedin.com/RECS. Number 10 is professional membership. Now, I'm a member of the Australian Human Resources Institute, the Career Development Association Australia, and several others. And it's really, really valuable to me as a professional to be a member of my professional association. So students, I encourage them to join when they're students because it's a lot cheaper to become a member at that stage. But it's a great opportunity to make your profile stand out against other applicants because you are a member. And if you've also got some level of accreditation, that's also going to look fantastic. You can include it as post-nominals on your name, on your resume. There's lots of other places you can put that information. But you can also list it in the certification section on your LinkedIn profile. And when you put it in the certification section, if that membership body has a company profile on LinkedIn, their logo goes on your LinkedIn profile. And that just makes you look, a little bit more professional as well. So very worthwhile. And you can put your membership number as your license number. So a lot of people think I can only write a certification if I'm a certified electrician or plumber or something like that. But you can actually do it in the professional occupations as well. I've also included my police check details, my working with children card, because I'm teaching a lot of the time. So people want to know that it's safe to employ me. I also like to encourage you to include some bling. So you can link to videos. It doesn't have to be your own video content, but more and more content is going to video format. And if you do decide to put a YouTube video on there, make sure you watch the video all the way to the end because, there can be something terrible on the video. So, and preferably a short video, not a really long video. You can also include images, PDFs, documents, but please don't overdo it. Some people look like a real try-hard because they put too much information on, too much bling on their LinkedIn profile, and that doesn't look good. But some bling shows you've got a level of digital competency. I'm an ex-banker, so I definitely do not recommend you include your date of birth. That's part of your identity. But also, some people don't like particular star signs. So, you might be eliminated from a job opportunity because you're the wrong star sign. So please don't put your date of birth on there. I also don't believe it's necessary to put your marital status on there either. It doesn't affect your ability to do the job. But if you want to travel and you are single, then I'd probably suggest you do put it on because that could be to your advantage because they don't have to cart, a whole family and 3 dogs and something like that. And also, it can lead to fraud. That's probably my main concern about putting your date of birth on there. One of the really key things about living in Australia is we have a sense of our rights but also our responsibilities, and most Australians do some form of voluntary work and you can showcase that on LinkedIn. So even if you're not working now, get some voluntary work. You don't have to say that all of that voluntary work is voluntary. You can still include it in your experience section. Because most employers prefer it if you go from a job into another job. So you could still list it in your voluntary section and you can also list it in your experience section. So I have done a lot of voluntary work for ARI, the Australian Human Resources Institute, because it's related to my career. I put that in my experience section. I've also put it in the voluntary section, but I've also included in that voluntary section what I've done with Scouts, what I've done with the church groups, different other organisations I've been a part of. So I've still included that, but in a slightly different area. I don't think anybody needs to know that I can sail or that I can turn sausages on a barbecue. I mean, those things are not really relevant to the main work that I normally do. You can also list your professional memberships in your organisation section. So even if you are only a member while you're a student and you're not a member anymore, you can still have it in the organisation section. You can detail all of the roles, where you're the president, the secretary, the treasurer of that organisation, and you can put dates, and you can even, again, put the hyperlinks in to promote that body that you've been a part of. If English is not your first language, it's still really important to put English as the first language with your level of competency, and then all your other languages in their order of competency after that. And that also adds some value to your profile. Start thinking about any questions you might like to ask, because we're up to number 16, so I'm happy to answer questions as well this morning. I'm also at the stand 120 Ways Publishing, just to the right of or left of the stage here. And as I said, we've got the flyers that you can contact me directly if you'd like to do that. We're running some free workshops on LinkedIn at RMIT University on Tuesday morning, and then at General Assembly we're doing LinkedIn for startups and entrepreneurs at 6 o'clock. Both of those events are free. So, projects. Projects is another good place for you to showcase your skills. So if you've been involved in more project work, or even if you just had a project within a job, you can describe that on your LinkedIn profile. What we're taught as recruiters is that you need to showcase your past behaviour, because we see that as a predictor of your future performance. So in the project section, you would write up the title of the project, the description of the project, the actual challenges that you overcame, the feedback that you got from the project, the results, any particular outcomes. And if you do that for each project, it really showcases, again, more keywords, but also your transferable skills. You really need to make it consistent for each project, and again, think about the keywords that you're putting in those projects. That's also going to help you come up in search results. Are you all starting to realise there's quite a lot of work to do on your LinkedIn profile? A bit more than you might have thought of to begin with, but let me assure you it's definitely worthwhile, because you can make it so that the right opportunities come to you. And the reason that's so important is less than 10% of jobs are actually even advertised. So many people get jobs through referrals, recommendations, networking, that kind of thing. So if I hear about you and I decide I'd like to consider you for an opportunity, the first thing I'm going to do is Google you, and that's where you're going to come up on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is highly optimised for your name. Now, the personal and professional interests. I encourage you to put your keywords in again here, separated by commas, because that's going to, again, help you come up in search results. But I also encourage you to put in a little bit of personality, so that I can have a sense when I look at your profile about the type of person you are. There's one person I worked with who was an accountant, and he liked playing poker, and I suggested he take that one off of his LinkedIn profile, because I don't really trust an accountant who plays poker. I'm glad somebody got my joke. Thank you. Okay, number 18 is you definitely need to fill in the section, complete the advice for contacting section. And that's again another reminder, now that you've finished reading through the whole profile, what you would like the person to do. So put in a call to action there, say you're interested in this type of work, put in your contact details, and use spaces around your email address so you don't get the spam robots coming, and remind them about what you want to do in the future so the person can make a decision about whether to contact you or not. I also encourage you to follow companies. So, for example, the National Australia Bank, they use LinkedIn Recruiter Service, and they target recruits who are currently following the National Australia Bank, and they've actually found that they're much better employees. So if you're targeting particular companies you'd like to work for, follow them, and also join groups and participate in those groups, but add value to the groups if you want to be known in your industry. And you can also, on your news feed, you can like, comment and share content. But if you're going to do that, make sure you click through to the links, checked out everything that's on there, and then decide whether you really want to like, comment or share it. Sharing gives you really extra brownie points. LinkedIn loves it when you share content. If you really want to go to the next level after you've done all of this, I would suggest that you write 3 posts per year. So in them, I'd suggest you write at least 300 words around the topics of most interest to you. Make it either or all informative, educational and entertaining, and use search engine optimization techniques. So put in headings, put in pictures, put in videos. All of that is going to add to the impact of your LinkedIn profile. So after all of that, if you would like a copy of these slides, I've got a lot of free information under both publications and presentations on my sueellson.com website. If you send your first name and email address to me, I'll send you links to that, also to these slides, the recording of today, and the recordings that I did yesterday. I did a top 20 career attraction tips workshop yesterday, and at 1 o'clock today I'm going to be doing the top 20 tips for contractors and freelancers. So if you're interested in doing contract or freelance work, I'm going to be talking about that at 1 o'clock today, and then I'm going to be doing this session again at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So thank you for coming along to the SpotJobs Career Expo here today. Hope you go out and ask lots of questions. These people are here to give you information, and if you want to come and speak to me personally, you can pop over there, and as I said, just fill in the bottom of the slip and I'll send you the details. Now, questions? Have we got time for that, John?
Yep, any questions? Anyone, somebody?
No one's courageous enough to say it in front of the
Last
whole
question.
group?
No, they might want to come over.
There's someone over here.
Thank you, John.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sue Ellson. Very, very informative about LinkedIn, and there's a lot of stuff.